Alright, so a while ago I acquired a little bundle of 3 guitars that were heavily modified, pretty hacked up, but I thought they might be good to try to get them playing or possibly use them for parts. And this one is a parts Telecaster. I previously showed a video of changing the classical guitar bridge that was on it to a hardtail bridge, and now I'm going to try to fix the rest of the issues with it. As far as the pickups, it has a lace gold sensor in the neck. I love these pickups. I used to have a set of them in a Strat. They're not the hot gold, they're the regular gold or whatever they're called. And they sound really clear and they're not harsh at all. Pretty balanced sound. And that was actually the main reason I wanted this guitar, is I thought, well, at least I'll get one of those pickups out of it. But I think what I'm going to do is flip these. The best sounding guitar that I ever owned was actually this parts Tele. It had a humbucker in the neck. I think it was just a generic humbucker, maybe out of like a Korean made guitar. And then also had a DiMarzio pickup in the bridge. And for whatever reason, the two balanced very well. The middle position was great. You could really dial in the sound with the volume control. And that neck humbucker had a really great lead sound. Unfortunately, the width of the fingerboard was just too narrow, and nothing I could do would really help that. So the high E would come off the board, the low E would come off. I tried different necks, and it just didn't sound the same. It sounded, for whatever reason, that neck with that body was a great combination, and there's nothing I could do to really fix it. So I ended up selling that guitar because it was a parts guitar, and I actually got more money out of it than I had put into it, which never happens. I'm always kind of trying to look to recreate that sound on a better playing guitar. Telecustoms have that set up, but they've been pretty hit or miss as far as, usually when I find one that has a sound I like, it's out of my price range. So anyway, I would like to do a similar setup with this. This is a much darker sounding guitar, I think. Of course, that could be because of that vinyl covering, but I might try the P90 in the neck and the lace sensor in the bridge and see how that sounds. I do actually like how this guitar looks with the stickers on it. Unfortunately, it feels awful. It's not smooth at all. Some of the edges of the stickers, it looks like once the stickers were put down, some sort of lacquer or clear coat was put over it. So the edges of the stickers are actually pretty hard. It just feels like there's a thick layer of vinyl over the guitar. It kind of looks like folk art, and I hate to ruin it, but as it is, I really don't like playing it, so I'm thinking of stripping that off. Possibly. I've always wanted a Telecaster with an unfinished body. I don't know if I'm going to do that to this one just because of the time involved in sanding it by hand. But I do have some paint here that I want to try, maybe give it sort of like a more classic butterscotch look. In addition to those issues, this guitar actually has what is like it looks like a pretty severe forward bow, but it's actually the angle of the neck sitting in the pocket that causes it to have that like banana shape. And the action's pretty high. It's at right around 3.8 millimeters on the bass side and about the same on the treble side. There is a shim in the neck pocket, a lot of glue, so I'm not sure what all's been done with that. I'm hoping it'll be an easy fix to fix that angle and lower the action. I'm going to start off by taking off the neck. See all that glue there. And there is the shim, pretty thick shim. It was glued in with some sort of brown glue. I don't know if it's epoxy or what, but it does not want to come out. I'm trying to be careful with this. I don't want to do any damage to the body itself. Pretty stubborn, so I'm trying to think. I don't know if that's the issue is there, or if it's a parts guitar, so the angle on the heel of the neck wasn't made to fit with this body. And I'm thinking it might be better just to try to change the heel of the neck. And I'm just sanding that down a bit. It looks like it definitely helped the angle. We'll have to see. I'll keep messing with that later once I get everything else situated. This thing is really chewed up. I'm sticking in, I found these small pieces of wood. They're not toothpicks. I don't know if they're like some sort of dental thing or what, but I just want something in there when I glue it to kind of help fill that very irregular area. Obviously the best thing would probably be to route this out and replace it, but I don't have the equipment or the ability to do that. And you can see those little pieces of wood that I'm starting to use. I think those will also lay well in those grooves. I'll lay them flat and glue them in. And I also filled the rear pickup cavity with wood glue. I just soaked it with wood glue. It's like crumbling. I don't know if it was, the way it was routed was very crude. It almost looked like maybe a dog had chewed it. So I just filled it with wood glue to hopefully stabilize that a bit. Now I'm actually on the way to my storage unit out in the suburbs. I want to see what kind of pickups I have. I'd like it if I had a humbucker laying around. I have a bag of like old guitar parts, so need to see what I have, maybe recycle something.
Turn right, then the destination is on your left.
And I've never been a guitar collector or anything, but it's funny how much stuff you can end up with. Just a little bit this year, a little bit that year, and it all adds up. I will say too, if you ever acquire guitars from people, I would recommend that you at least give them something for it, like money, a trade, because if not, then it becomes like a gift, and if it's a gift, then you're expected to keep it as like a sentimental thing, and then before you know it, you've got 10 quote-unquote sentimental guitars that you have to keep for the rest of your life. And that might sound ungrateful, but the truth is, you know, if people know that you like guitars or play guitar or whatever, they will give them to you, and first it seems great, but if you're limited on space, you might find that it can be kind of an issue. And guitars from wives or girlfriends, you can never get rid of those as long as the relationship's still going, and they're not really free. I mean, you're one way or another, you're paying for those guitars. Well, I forgot to video actually searching for the pickups, but it was a bust anyway. I don't have any humbuckers in there. I brought back a few things, but I don't know if they'll be useful on this project. And now to try to scrape this stuff off. Again, if this thing felt better, I wouldn't be doing this, but I just can't bring myself to even hold this guitar. I don't really like ripping all this history off of it. I'm just using a chisel as a scraper. It comes off alright. can see just how banged up this body is. I had this paint around. I think I kept it for this type of project. I just have had it for a long time and didn't get around to using it, so I'll use it now. Like I said, I'd sort of like to go for that butterscotch type look. I use a scratch pad on the body. Hopefully that'll help the paint hold. I'm not completely confident that this is going to work out, but it seems like it's worth a try. It's not going to take me very long. The main thing I want to do is get some paint on the bare wood areas just to sort of help stabilize that along with the wood glue. This bright yellow might not go great with this banged up body, so I might have to do something to sort of dull the yellow, but I think it'll be alright. I have this brown paint that's mixed with some polyurethane, and I'm going to use that to sort of maybe dull down that yellow a little bit. Just sort of wipe it on and off and see what it does. Kind of stain it a bit. It's almost giving me like a wood grain pattern, which I'm not usually a fan of, like the faux wood grain, but I think it's better than the bright yellow. And there's a look of it. It looks alright. I think it'll look better once you have everything on it. I really like the feel of this body now that I have all those stickers off of it. It feels like an old 70s Fender body, just like a thick slab. And I'm just getting everything put back together. I use those Q-tips to sort of hold the bridge in place for the time being. I decided not to fill the extra back holes. I have a trapeze that I think those might be useful for, so just in case, I'm going to leave them for now. And the bridge is back on. That seems pretty straight and solid. This is not the best fit with that gaping hole and the pickup ring, but I think it'll work okay. I'm just going to install the pickup directly to the body. That is the lace gold sensor. I just changed the cover. Wiring is definitely not my favorite. So, although I didn't find a humbucker, I do have this mini humbucker. I think I might give that a try. I really liked how it sounded on the Firebird, so maybe I'll try that out. I've never tried one on a Tele before. Still think I might need a humbucker, but I'll try this for now. There is the new control plate. I actually put in a Les Paul through. I used a metal reamer to enlarge the hole there. Instead of the blade style switch, I have a Les Paul three-way switch there. I like those better. So there's everything all installed and wired up. Last thing to do is to put on the pickup ring for the bridge. That will help cover some of that gaping hole. So it's all back together. The action's pretty good. I got it down to 2.8 millimeters on the bass side and 2.6 on the treble. Intonation seems pretty good so far. I will say this thing sounds pretty weak on the B and E strings, the high strings. It's hard to say if that's something in the setup, if it's something to do with what I did to the neck or the bridge, or I mean with these parts guitars it can be really difficult to tell, but I don't really have time to troubleshoot it right now, so I'll still play it, but keep in mind that the sound is a bit weak. I think when I do get around to working on this guitar some more, in addition to tweaking the setup a bit, I will also just go ahead and put in a neck humbucker. Hopefully I can find that magic sound I'm always looking for. So yeah, overall I really like how this guitar feels, so that's the main reason that I think it's worth at some point putting some more time into it. Definitely changing that neck pickup out for a humbucker. Right now the tone is kind of uninspiring, but I'll go ahead and play it anyway. And if I get around to doing more on this, I'll certainly video that. And also the other two guitars that came in this bundle, I plan to do videos on those also.